not only that, everybody thinks of that. I thought of that. That was in my first query letter, and it's an instant turn off because they see it everywhere. It means nothing. So don't put it in there. That usually they do the years a little, not, it would be like 9 to 12 is a middle grade, and then they don't like the term juvie, but young adult is a little older, like 13 through 15, 16, something like that. And then there's some that are called juveniles, like Heinlein's books they call juveniles, and they, anyone from like 10 or 11 on could read them. Okay, so are you a member, or have you joined or checked out the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators? You should, because they have guidelines and stuff about that. They have conferences you can attend, and there are books on how to write and publish children's books. And you should, this is not my area, so it's hard for me to give you very specific advice, but you should be learning more about that market. And there are books on the subject, and you should read some of them, and you should check out Scooby, SCBWI, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. You can Google it. And so just the main thing to be aware of is what the length is approximately. And Harry Potter is an anomaly. Okay, most middle grade readers are still around 40,000 words, which is about what she was describing. So pay attention to your book length, okay?
Well, my character is between 3.5 and 13. The children, now they are adults too.
What's your question?
I don't know what category you fall into. The little kids and older kids.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So, are you going back? Okay. So that's kind of a strange thing where it's like it just covers a lot.
The only thing I can tell you is to read obsessively in the field that you're trying to write.
Okay.
Read everything. Okay? All right, next question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if
you'll be next, sir.
If you actually do get something published, what type of sales volume do you need to have a decent chance of getting another novel published after that?
Boy, that's a good question. That's a toughie. If you had a first novel published in paperback original in science fiction or fantasy, and they did a first printing of, say, 10,000 copies, and you had like an over 50%, like say 60-65% sell-through, chances are pretty good that they would go ahead and look for a second novel. Okay? 85% sell-through is terrific. Okay, do you all know what I mean when I say sell-through? That means that those books didn't get shredded. That meant that 85% of the ones that they sent to stores actually sold sooner or later. And and you started, if you can get to the point where you're actually earning royalties over and above the advance you were paid, you never have to pay back your advance, but you don't earn any more money until you have essentially paid back the advance out of your royalties. Okay? Everybody understand what I just said? All right. So if your advance was $7,500, you would have to sell enough books so that the publisher makes $7,500 back, and then you start earning more money. Now, the publisher takes a bigger hump than you do. So however much, it would take, you with your 8% on a, $8.99 paperback to sell that much, they're making money long before you are, because they get a bigger chunk, okay? All right, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so a lot of the print runs for first-time writers probably going to be around 10,000 copies, 5,000 to 10,000 copies. Is that reasonable?
5 would be low. 10,000 would be about average. 12,000, something like that. 20,000 would be a lot. Okay?
I hate to be evil and chase you off, but it's...
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead and ask your question. Just come on up here. You in the yellow shirt. Okay. Come on, gathering my stuff up. I don't want to not answer your question.
Well, I wondered about the small press, that's where I'm seeing most novellas published purchases.
Well, Analog and Asimovs do them every so often, and so does FNSF, but yeah. What about them?
Right, well, I just wondered if you knew of anything like novella publishers in the small press.
No, I don't write short fiction.
Okay.
I've almost never
Is
written
there
short
anybody you
fiction.
get really strong, because I can't get up.